very tempting to look for codes, but there doesn't seem to be a lot.
No, there's lots of rebuses.
Good afternoon, gentle viewers. Today I'm going to be talking about rebuses in the maze, starting with 33, and talking a little bit about some other rooms too. So, just a disclaimer, when you're looking at rebuses, you have to give a little bit of flex with the homophones when you've got words like this that are changed to the letter C. You have to remember that you have to have that allowance in some cases. It's difficult to determine when to use that type of judgment, when to look at an object as a rebus or not. So it's hard to ascertain whether this item here is a rebus, but if you look at it like a seal ring, you can rearrange the letters to real sign. It's difficult to come up with something rebus oriented with these pictures here. When you rearrange the word picture, you come up with rich pet. You don't come up with any other words that make sense. Why rich pet? Goldfish. Har har. Yeah, not satisfying at all. That's probably not what it is. But the pictures have bugged me for some time. I've been thinking about them in terms of like, okay, is it something to do with baseball? You've got like a pitcher here and a relief pitcher or something. But that doesn't really make sense either because you've got the whole band theme going on, which made me think about the ring again because the ring is a band. And then I was like, oh shit, a bandwagon. And then we've got the instruments here. Is this really a drum or is it a snare? Because you've been ensnared coming through the wrong door in 17 to 33. And speaking of room 17, we got another cheesy rebus here. So there's two suns. So sun 2 rearranges to not us. Not satisfying really again, but if you believe in the power of rebuses, then maybe they'll exist. Anyway, back to this. So again, it's kind of hard to determine where you use the rebus system. Like, is this a B and this is a hidden T making beat, like drum beat? I don't know. Maybe not. Is that even a bee or a fly or a wasp or a moth? It's hard to determine what that is. But if you do take this for a real sign, then maybe it gives these signs a little bit less weight, although I'm sure there's something to them. But the last thing that I came to with these two jugs / pitchers is the orientation of the handle. So the handle here is on the right side as opposed to the left side, which is this one. So maybe that's some kind of wordplay. Right, wrong, right, left, right door, because it's the right-handed pitcher. Anyways, that being said, I just want to touch on room 8 a little bit. This is not a whole room review, but I just wanted to, since we're talking about rebuses, this right here, I think it's a lot mundane, more mundane than people think it is. I think this is just a rebus for bowling pins because it contains all the letters for that. And it might explain the lowercase I a little bit better, although I don't think so. So take that for what it's worth. Bowling pins, this group here. It would make for an easier explanation than all the mental acrobatics we play to get bowling out of the text or whatever, or out of other elements of the room. It's much easier to just take these three and come up with bowling pins, and then somehow that leads to 12 through the spare or whatever. Oh yeah, so there was another one here that might be of interest to people. I can't see how you would describe this picture as anything other than a field, which when you rearrange the letters is I fled. In room 39, now again, this is kind of pushing it here. If you consider this an oak tree, then the rearranged letters are take ore, but ore is spelled O-R-E as in precious metal, even though you do take the O-R from here for the other riddle. And one last thing I wanted to talk about was, and this one's kind of silly as well, but I thought it was interesting. So if you consider this as a white bird, then those letters rearranged are wide berth. Of course, it's not birth spelled the way birth would be in that respect. It's birth with an I. Birth with an E is how you would spell it. But again, a little bit of flex there, wide berth. Rebuses are all about puns and wordplay, so take that for what you will. My problem with this is that although, he's in front of a wrong door and you want to give that door a wide berth, if you're going to do it to this bird, then why wouldn't you do it to the other birds as well? In this case, it might work because this bird is close to the wrong door again. But in the case of 32, the bird somehow actually indicates the right door, so you wouldn't use that wide berth. So again, you see here what I'm talking about with really, really delicately using rebuses. What is the line between acceptable and not acceptable, and what is the line between a rebus and not a rebus? This is obviously a rebus, but you have to give it some flex with the lettering. And then you got something like this, where this here, the toes and the mushroom, it's not a rebus, but it is cluing you in another fashion and another type of puzzle to go back to one. Again, so this riddle here with the Fortunato, this is not necessarily a rebus so much as it is indicating the story behind this riddle here. Yeah, C changes to C. And I guess I'll close with room 45. Because again, this would have been something none or all, both spelled differently. And the Woodrow thing kind of bugs me a little because I don't know. This is really pushing it as far as a rebus is concerned, and it might be easier for you to figure this one out after the William Shakespeare, because I've actually seen this Shakespeare thing used elsewhere. Maybe they ripped it off of Manson. Maybe I don't know. But anyway, I'll close on that. That's it on rebuses. Very delicate usage. Oh, by the way, I watched the Owen Hammer episode again, and I really liked his theory on how this one is a vase or vase, and this one is an urn. I really like that because those letters do rearrange to run and save. Yeah, I thought that was clever. So again, I'm not staking my life on anything that I've talked about here, but it is interesting to think about. There's probably more rebuses here that are unsolved. I think they're fun. I think rebuses are fun puzzles in general. And yeah, that's about it. Peace.
No, there's lots of rebuses. 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 Lots of rebuses.